Good afternoon. My name is Colby and I'm a talent acquisition sourcer here at Bright Horizons. Thank you for joining our talent acquisition live stream event today. Joining us is Lauren Payne, Executive Director at our Bright Horizons at SAS in Cary, North Carolina.
Hey,
Hey,
Colby,
Lauren.
thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for joining us today. If you don't mind, why don't you just start by telling us a little bit about yourself and your career journey in early education?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started my career with Bright Horizons right out of college. I was looking for um, a place to call home, and I had met somebody at a wedding actually, and she was like, "You have to come to Bright Horizons. It's the best place." I was like, "Okay, I'll give it a shot. I'll do an interview," and went in for an interview and already fell in love. Just knew the philosophy was exactly what I felt like early childhood education should be. So I got the job as a preschool teacher. And then from there, really wanted to move up in the company. And so I was um, moved into an instructional coach position. And then from there, about 2 years later, moved into the director position, all in one center. Um, once once I was there, I was really interested in kind of spreading my wings. I had been at the same center for quite a while, and I wanted to see kind of what else was out there. So there was an opportunity for me to help support a center that was going to be opening a brand new center. So I went over there. That was an amazing time. We opened all the boxes, we placed every single material, and then we moved all of the children and families into it, and it was amazing. So I was the director at that center. Then everything shut down for COVID, and it was kind of like, what's next? What's going to happen? For me, it was something really exciting. There was a new center that we were taking over in a transition, and that's the SAS Center. And so they asked me to come in and be the executive director of that center. And that was really, really exciting for me. And so my growth through Bright Horizons has started all the way down from just a threes teacher, my favorite age group, all the way up until now where I am as an executive director.
Well, that's an amazing story so far. Thank you so much for telling me a little bit
Yeah.
about that. Just kind of diving into the question. So, first one, just curious, what do you love most about your role in early education?
Yeah, well, so that has changed over the years. When I first started, um, I just really was passionate about early childhood education and being on the level with children and just creating those amazing lesson plans and experiences for children. Um, and that still is a foundation of what I love today. But now what I'm really enjoying is educating leadership, educating teachers about how to have that same passion, that same growth um, in the classrooms, connecting with families in a different way than I had been before. So that's what really drives me and makes me excited about this field.
Well, that's amazing. Obviously, with two, kind of obviously where you said it first started and then we're in transition, it makes perfect sense with your role structure. Um, yeah, just kind of backtracking, I guess, overall wise, but just curious, what inspired you to pursue a career in early education?
Yeah, so that's a person. The person was my preschool teacher growing up. She was so caring and so loving and took me in and just was such an inspirational person that I wanted to be just like her when I grew up. And so I knew from that age, I'm going to work with preschool age children. That's the only thing I want to do. That's what I'm going to do. So once I got too old to go to the preschool, they hired me on. So I never left. And then, yeah, so then I went to college, and then I was able to really pursue my passion. And all throughout college, I still maintained a job at different centers. And I thought that that was something that was really beneficial for me because I could really kind of see what else was out there. And that helped me decide where I am today and know that this is the right place for me.
Well, that's amazing that you had such a driven focus from such a young age, and a lot of people don't stick to it. So that's incredible, and makes perfect sense why you're in the leadership position you are today. Um, yeah. Next question, though. Just curious. Obviously, with your overall growth in your career, what advice would you give other Bright Horizons family members who are looking to grow within the company?
Absolutely. So one of the reasons why I chose Bright Horizons is because of their growth opportunity. That was something really important to me. I loved being a teacher, but I just knew that, I wanted to eventually continue to move up and inspire other teachers. So that was one of the reasons why I chose Bright Horizons as that. An advice that I would give somebody is that you are in charge of your own career. Bright Horizons says steer your career, and that is exactly the advice that I would give somebody. Don't wait for somebody to tell you. Just soak in all of the Bright Horizons that there is. There are so many amazing resources and so much out there to help people really be successful. Just soak it all in and embody that. And then the other piece of advice I would give is just network. Um, Bright Horizons is all over the place. There are so many amazing, amazing people in Bright Horizons that you can really learn from. And part of my growth was just talking to other people in different areas, and still something I do today. And just really getting to know people, getting to know their centers, their best practices, and the things that they do, so that way I can implement them at my own center, and just continue to grow.
Absolutely. And I agree with it tremendously. I know obviously networking, and then I think everyone said this so far, but the endless opportunities we have with Bright Horizons. If you're curious and you pursue it, they're going to back you up with that support. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving forward, though, what practices do you use to maintain a program focused on child-centered environments?
That's a great question. So that's always the foundation of everything that I do. You can be great at a lot of things, but if you don't have that, then what is your program? So really is that it's that education never stops. Another one of the things that I love about Bright Horizons is we have a whole education development department that's constantly researching what's out there, what's new, what are best practices, and they're helping bring those down so that way we can make sure that we are doing the best of the best. That's something that I'm passionate about. I want to make sure that we've got the best out there. And so it's something that's important to me when I was choosing a company to work for. I really think just making sure that you're constantly keeping yourself updated and using the resources that are out there. And there are so many, like we had just spoke about, resources available. If you're utilizing them, there's no way to fail. And just making sure that you're really soaking in some of those best practices, and just utilizing them, in different ways that you can in your own center.
Yeah, no, totally. I think that totally makes sense why it's a great center that you're running. As far as with those different elements, I definitely understand. And then obviously, when you have all the resources, not just obviously with the company, but in the field too, that we have in the classrooms, I think, like you said, it probably is really hard to fail.
It is.
Just final question though, and I guess it's an over-encompassing question more on your growth since you've been with us through that whole journey. How has Bright Horizons supported you in that career growth journey?
Honestly, I couldn't have done it without Bright Horizons. I'm so thankful to have chosen this company because my success of where I am now is definitely in part by Bright Horizons and some of the leaders that have helped me along the way, and just the endless amounts of resources that are available and just the networking. It's such a collaborative environment, which is something that I really thrive in. You're never alone here, and you can just reach out for support. whenever you need it. And so if ever I was feeling stuck, I'm going to reach out to my fellow teachers, my fellow instructional coaches, my fellow directors, and just say, or, my regional managers, and just say, hey, this is what I'm working with. What can I do? And they're always so positive, so supportive. And, this is what we can do to get you where you need to go. And so that collaboration and that support is something that's really made me thrive in this company, and something that I'm very thankful for.
Well, that's amazing. Yeah, having that opportunity to obviously collaborate, have those future career plans, and then having someone in a higher leadership or even just peers giving you that kind of guide or support is a really amazing opportunity. I'm sure it speaks to why you stayed with us for so long.
Of course.
Yeah, I guess just wrap it up though, but is there anything else you'd like to share, or any words of advice you'd like to give for anyone looking to start their early education journey?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when I was looking for a place to find my home and where I wanted to stay, I did a lot of research on different philosophies and different companies, missions and all of that. I have chosen Bright Horizons because I do believe that it is the best. I believe that everything that goes into the heart principles that we have, everything that goes into our mission, is what's best for children, but not only what's best for children, but what's best for their employees, what's best for their families, and what's best for the company. So I encourage people to do research, and whenever I'm doing an interview, I hope that people do research, because when people come back to choose us, we want them to know that this is their home and this is the right fit. I've made that choice, and I hope others will make that too.
Well, thank you so much today, Lauren, for taking the time to speak with me. I hope you have a great rest of your week.
Thank you so much, Colby. I appreciate it.